What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. Once again, Todd Graff is way too cool for school. I don't even know where he is. I talked to him this morning. He was on some huge rant that he was out of organic milk at his house. He was very upset about it. So maybe he's off buying organic milk somewhere, but in any case, he's not here, so I am doing it solo this week. Before we get into the hunt, gotta let you know, we do have some pretty sweet new Bowhunt or Die Yetis for sale on the website. So go to bowhunting.com/gear. It says Bowhunt or Die on one side. It's got the sweet antler shield on the other. They're black. They're awesome. Buy them. I have my own personal Yeti here. I had this one custom made. It's decorated with all my stickers or decals, whatever you want to call them. This week I'm not drinking Starbucks. My buddy Handy Randy yelled at me for drinking Starbucks. I think he called me a dirty lib, if I recall, which I don't know what my preference for girly Starbucks drinks has to do with my political affiliation, but apparently that is a signal to the world. So this week we've got some Black Rifle coffee to make up for the Starbucks. Hopefully they balance each other out. Enough talking, let's jump into the hunt this week. We got Paul Morrison and Dustin DeCrew, Wyoming residents. These guys are guides. They literally spend their entire life guiding people on hunts, but unfortunately they don't get to hunt much themselves. They had a 1-week break in between turkey hunts in Wyoming, so they decided to drive down to Kansas. Let's join them right now.
All right, guys, good morning. It's been a couple weeks since you guys have been here. Well, virtually. Johnny and Clinton were here in Kansas, and they killed a couple birds while me and Dustin left yesterday. And there's a bird there. Oh, old owl. Left yesterday afternoon, and we weren't planning on for sure being here in the morning, but it's about 5:30. I think shooting light's about 6:05, and we're getting close. So we're gonna see if we can find some birds this morning and maybe make a plan on them. We're a little tired, but
that'll all go away with the first gobble.
Yeah, as soon as you start hearing them, we'll forget about it until about 1 o'clock when we fall asleep underneath a tree with 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Yep. I don't know what time that early check-in is at the hotel, but if it's blowing 25, we might take our 2 dead birds back over there and have a nap. Oh, that's a great sign. We just pulled in here to this property. It's about 320 acres. And there's a bird hammering right down here. And then more down the creek. And pretty sure I heard one up the creek too, so. Are there cricks or creeks in Kansas? I'm not sure.
Just how much redneck you got in your blood.
You're gonna go down here on the creek and kill one, as Weston would say. So, alright, he's pretty close. We should probably look in that tree and make sure he's not.
I looked in that tree right there, and I didn't see anything, but I think he's down here below, right down below there.
He's right. So the property line goes right down here, but there's a beautiful bottom. Actually, Barron hung a stand there with my dad in November. We got a big deer on camera, but this bottom goes down here, and then there's a crop field in the bottom that's planted in cover crops right now. So
let's go.
It's go time, boys.
Ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. All right, well, we're still trying to get ready here. The bird's still hammering over the hill right over here. We've got about another 2 minutes and we'll be ready to go. Try to get the camera set up. Probably get the fan on top of it. And take the decoys, and we'll probably sneak down this drainage or up over the hill. See what we can do. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna go down into this creek bottom here
and get as close as we can to them. Find a place to set up and see if we can call them in. This is beautiful here though, look at all the cover. Alright, well, we're set up. Got the decoys right here. I'm hoping that he comes from here. He comes into this spot that we got. But we'll see. Well, it was a little bit too good to be true. You know, we had one hammering off the roost this morning. Snuck down to a really good spot, got set up. Beautiful little situation we had. Unfortunately, the birds dropped down and went the other direction. So instead of waiting here and hunting, I mean, there's birds in the area. We're going to go check out these other spots that we have while it's still early. See if we can see birds, out in the fields or whatever, strutting, finding the hens, and maybe get on something. So, all right, guys. So there's like 4 toms down here at the bottom, and we've been calling to them, and we end up calling these 3 jakes in right behind us. They got right in Dustin's face, but they weren't very close to me, and honestly, they're on the wrong side of the fence, but been trying to work these toms up, and I don't know if they're going to work up or not. Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Kansas. Stopped in here at the old Casey's. Dustin's on a diet, so the only thing he's getting this morning is coffee. He's on one of his challenges with Jay-Z. So tried to talk him into some donuts last night for Jay-Z's sake, but he's not breaking. So this morning it's this is gonna be a nice day. It's gonna be a little bit windy about how yesterday was. We're gonna set up the blind. We're gonna go down below where we ran into those 5 toms yesterday, and hopefully run into them, get them called in. Sit in the blind this morning. It's gonna be windy, so we'll be down the bottom. Be nice. So we'll see you guys when it starts getting light, and hopefully they start gobbling. No donuts this morning?
It's like the first time I've ever stopped at Casey's, and not donuts or pizza, but you know.
Well, Jay-Z said I'd get 10% of the earnings if I could get him to have pizza, but he ain't breaking. He ain't breaking. Windy, so it's down the bottom. This is probably the best spot to get out of the wind for us. As luck would have it, we've got birds hammering. I have 4 or 5 of them, one way down below us, and 2 or 3 in front of us, and 1 behind us. So they could pop up at any time. So we're getting ready, and hopefully we get to wax 2 of them this morning. Well, just like turkeys do, they didn't come directly in off the roost, but we still got a lot of birds around us, and there's actually 3 longbeards that just popped out in the field, and I think they're deciding to come in, so don't count our turkeys before they get in and get smoked, but we've got 3 of them working in from the field from the right, so. Well, it almost worked out to a T. We've got one dead bird here, and we tried to get it switched around, and honestly, the chair was a big pain in the butt, and then I couldn't get it focused for some reason. I think I had my glove on, couldn't find the focus ring, but I've got my first Kansas bird down on the ground in front of us, and I made a good shot and landed, I think that's my phone. Sounds like Tommy Alford killed one too, but we got one bird down. Isn't that awesome? Freaking came into the decoys perfect, turned around, I aimed high. The bird didn't go 20, it didn't go 4 feet actually. It was laying right in between our hands. So, we had that big scuffle, which was fun. And I think Dustin was on him a couple times where I wasn't on him, and then they kind of strutted behind this the bar. We just have a lot of stuff in here, 2 bows and stuff, so it would have been a hard one to pull off, but we weren't able to get a good shot at them, so they end up going up over the hill. So, but one bird down, one to go. Thanks, buddy. That was fun, man. That was a blast. Came in from about 400 yards. He's a heavy bird. There's a photo. Shoot that one that's strutting right at you, right in the neck. So the strutter on the right, if he turns towards you, or whatever you want to do. The middle one. Bye-bye. It didn't go 20. Freaking plan done. We said this morning we were gonna go in here and we were gonna kill 2, and then I can't remember if we were taking a nap or going fishing first. But that's like that's the best thing we could ever ask for right there. Let's go. Oh, we knew we were gonna be here for a while. Because they weren't worried. We had a hen come in. It was perfect. Oh, there she is right there. Paul called her in. And they were gobbling. She was talking. We were just sitting here hanging out. And then they came right over the top. Boom. That is greatness. Oh.
It's a heavy bird. They do make it nice and easy with that app, though. That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I guess we're gonna set up some birds and take some pictures. I don't know how you could ask for any better of a day.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, you as well.
We were able to kill some birds this year versus not last year, the year before. We came out here on our Kansas trip, and I think we learned a little bit on that trip. We learned that early season isn't always the best.
Yeah.
And so this time, Johnny and Clinton came.
Yep.
And they came that early season, and they struggled. They did. I think they killed theirs the third day, but they found those aggressive birds. And
yep.
What happened here? I mean, we're having a little bit of a hard time just finding really aggressive birds. Is kind of what it came down to.
Like there's, you know, when we left Wyoming, all those birds are still in big groups. Mm-hmm. And they're also like, we didn't see more than what, 3 or 4 birds, maybe 5 in a group.
Right here.
And yeah, and they, you know, they weren't super aggressive. We were fanning and doing some stuff, and they could kind of care less, or couldn't care less. And we kind of decided to switch up the program a little bit.
Yeah. Yesterday, I mean, we got onto some birds. We kind of kept going around, and the problem is with you run into any property, you know, that you either have access to, your public property, you know, sometimes you're not on the X, you're not on the money. And that's kind of how we were here. We found out yesterday that most of these birds were in those cut bean fields. So kind of our agenda and the way that it worked out today is we got as close to a cut bean field as we could where we knew we had seen birds. And that's exactly what happened. These birds were, you know, luckily we had some roosted to the left and the right, but a lot of these birds, the ones that came in with your group, they were roosted over there right off that cut bean field. So,
and yours was back here behind us. You know, we drove by here, we can see a little glimpses of this field from the highway. Mm-hmm. Last night we were cruising around full speed trying to roost some birds, and we could see a couple here. And this is actually like one of the first spots that I told Johnny and Clinton to go to, because that's where I'd seen birds in the fall.
Right. Yeah.
And just 2 weeks later makes a difference. So
yeah, so that's pretty cool. You know, I think this is, Dustin, you said that's your second Eastern that you've ever killed, but your first bow Eastern. So
that's the bow.
That's pretty cool. And then this is my first Kansas bird. Obviously, I lived back east for a long time, so we killed a couple. But this is just beautiful birds, man. Like just beautiful tail fans. Both of us had some barred feathers on. Well, mine's in the back, yours is in the front there. But just, I mean,
it's a good day.
Two birds one day, and like I said, learning a little bit on the fly that, you know, you don't have to go that first part of the season to get it done. This is a week into the gun season here, and these birds are being able to work. You know, if you can get into the right spot, with it being windy, we got down low, and
this was our goal: stay out of the wind, because that's apparently what all the birds did yesterday. Driving around, we couldn't find a bird, and then as the wind laid up, they came out of the cover, and so we just went to where we had cover and some wind protection, and now here we are.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of part of it. You learn as you go, you adjust, you make some movements, and sometimes it pays off like today did. So we're gonna get these birds. The tagging thing was awesome for Kansas. You know, with the app and everything, it took no time at all, and everything's verified, and you're able to go. So we're gonna get these back and pull the breast out, maybe cook them up here in the next couple days, and do some fishing this afternoon, and talk to some landowners and help them out, get some stuff prepped for fall. So
let's do it.
Congratulations, man.
You too, buddy.
Good work.
Bow hunt or die, boys.
Attaboy.
All right, congrats to Dustin and Paul, 2 of our seasoned veterans. These guys are no stranger to shooting animals with a bow and arrow, so congrats to those guys. Looks like a fun trip. I know they're back in Wyoming now. Every day I'm getting text messages from Dustin. He's guiding guys on turkey hunts. I'm a little jealous. I kind of want to go out and shoot a Miriam's turkey with Dustin one of these days. Maybe one of these years I'll get around to it. But in any case, congrats to those guys. Heck of a trip down to Kansas for them. Guys, next up we're going to jump into our Ask the Experts question. We have kind of a long one this week, so I will read the question, and then we're gonna jump into the answer from my buddy PJ Riley with Lancaster Archery Supply, so let's do that right now. Question comes from Lexi Kuiper, who says, I've been teaching myself to shoot an old compound that was gifted to me, but I'm struggling with drawing the bow back. I can't get it back without kicking my hip out and throwing off my posture. I really don't want to develop bad habits, and I'm not sure what I can do to fix this. Let's see what PJ has to say about that.
Okay guys, we got a question today from a bow hunter who received an older compound bow as a gift. So it's new to him, but he says it is an older compound bow. He's trying to teach himself to shoot, and he's noticing that he's having some trouble with the draw weight. What he's saying he has to do is he has to kick out his hip in order to get the bow back. That's a very common compensation that archers do when the draw weight is too heavy. He wants to know what he can do. Well, unfortunately, one of the realities may be that that bow just has a draw weight that's too heavy. He says he doesn't want to develop bad habits. Well, I can tell you, if you're drawing a bow that's too heavy, you will develop bad habits. And archery, drawing a bow is many more times about coordination than it is about strength. And it takes a while to build up that coordination to draw back a bow. And so we often start archers out down at 30, 40 pounds for their first bow until they get that coordination down. But sticking with your situation, what may you be able to do? And so let's start with your limb bolts here. Every compound bow has about 10 pounds of adjustment, unless it's, there are some models that have huge range of adjustment in these limb bolts, but most commonly they have about 10 pounds. So you just back these limb bolts out. Whatever you do to the top, make sure you do to the bottom. 2 turns out here, take 2 turns out down here, and that will reduce the draw weight. My bow is set at 70 pounds. I can take it down to about 60 pounds. How much draw weight you're reduced with each turn of the bolt varies from bow to bow. With this Matthews here, it's about 3 pounds for a full turn. So that's one thing you may want to try. Another thing you may want to try is another compensation to kicking out your hip. I'm guessing you're probably holding the bow flat, kicking out your hip to draw back, is try raising the bow up. I'm not talking about drawing up here, but I'm talking about starting up high and coming down as you draw back. That creates some leverage. And I stood here and did both, kicked my hip out and raised up and drew back. And it was actually easier when I raised up my arm. So those are some things you can try, but please don't be afraid to accept the fact that that bow may be a little too heavy for you and you're gonna have to try something lighter.
As always, thank you to our resident archery expert, Mr. PJ Riley. That was a great answer. You know, I could say that, you know, teaching yourself how to shoot a bow is no easy task by any means. Obviously, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that you can watch, and they're certainly going to help, but sometimes it's just good to ask questions, right? If you run into any situation with your bow, whether it's your form, the products you should be using, how you should be using them, what you should be doing, Lancaster Archery is a fantastic resource for you guys. Don't always try to figure it out on your own just by Googling and YouTubing. Sometimes it pays to just pick up that phone or hit that chat or, you know, send an email, get some expert help from the guys over at Lancaster Archery. So thank you to Lexi for that question. Guys, next up we're gonna jump into trophy photos. We got some more good ones this week. I have my critiques on them as always because, I don't know, it's just what I do. So let's take a look at those right now. Bo Cornaya, Damon Dorman, Hunter Stevens, Marty Schumann, Seth Anderson, and Tony Schulten Heinrich. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time for me to go through all these photos, tell you the goods, the bads, and more than anything, give you guys some constructive criticism and advice for how you can win the trophy photo contest. We're gonna start with Bo. Dude's in his front yard. Got some sort of camper in the background. No Bo in the picture. Bo, you're out. Next we get over to Damon. Not a bad photo. He's got his call kind of hanging out of his mouth. Decoys kind of hung over a little bit. So Damon, you're out. We go to Hunter Stevens, who's trying to give Jert a run for his money in the mustache department. Not a bad photo. Could be a little happier. Hunter, you shot a nice bird. Be happy about it. What are we going to do next? We're going to go down to Tony. Tony's got a heck of a last name here, Schulten-Heinrich. That is a mouthful, probably hard to spell, but there's no bow in the picture. Tony was going to be my guy. I looked at that, and I was like, dang, that's a good photo. You got the fan, got the wings out, it's on the rocks, it just looks good. No bow in the photo. It's like the number one mistake that people make. So now we're going to come down to Seth Anderson versus Marty Schumann. This is a tough one. There's things I like and dislike about both photos, but I'm gonna go Seth Anderson as the winner this week. It was very close. Seth, one thing he could have done better, the turkey's head's like buried up in a rock a little bit, kind of a little funky, but I like the photo. It's a great photo. Marty, your turkey's head is draped over your bow, which I don't know, I just felt like it was a little weird to me, but I do like the custom grip you have on your bow there. That's pretty sweet. So in any case, our winner, Seth Anderson this week. That is my critique of the trophy photos. Congrats to all of you guys. Killing turkeys is no easy feat, especially with a bow and arrow, so congrats to everybody. Most of all to Seth. Make sure you send us your information. We'll get you an HS prize pack sent your way. That's all I got for today. Go to bowhunting.com, buy your Yetis, buy your hats, buy your shirts. We got some new long sleeve shirts. They're pretty sweet. We got some new shirts coming in before 4th of July. Very patriotic, America, red, white, and blue stuff. So be on the lookout for those in a couple weeks. We got new hats on the way. Everything's coming. It's going to be deer hunting season before you know it. So get those trail cameras out. Deer are starting to grow some antlers right now. And yeah, be safe out there. Have fun. Wear your safety harness if you are doing any sort of tree stand work. And we will see you next week right here on Bowhunt or Die. All right, well, congratulations to Dustin and Paul. What should I say? What should I call these guys? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to redo this because I have to think of what I'm going to call them.